getting started. First and foremost, welcome to the stream for I believe this is the 4th week in a row that we're doing this. So congratulations to everybody who's been following along. If you are just joining us, this is going to be a weekly cast where we bring up discussions for what people have in web technologies, online, offline, things that are happening in the industry. Both locally here in Toronto, Ontario, and worldwide, where the information and interest lays. So last week, congratulations to Mark Osterfeld. Tried to figure out the last name, and I was able to contact him. Definitely, he's been out to a bunch of events. He's the one who won last week's FITC ticket, or FITC Toronto ticket. So congratulations to you, good sir. I hope you are able to get the time off. I still have yet to find out some information for you on whether or not it's the full ticket or for the workshops as well, or just the ticket for the week. I do owe that to you. So if you don't hear from me by Tuesday evening, send me an email, matthew@htmltoronto.ca, and I will be sure to get right on that for you. I will also try to... Holy, that's strong coffee. On that note, FITC has donated, or I believe will be donating as well, 2 tickets to give away for next week's, or this coming weekend's, HTML5 gaming and JavaScript event that the HTML group, DevTO and JavaScript Toronto are doing. If you are in the neighborhood, if you are in Toronto or southeastern Ontario, and you can make it out, I will have a link to it down in the description below. However, the event itself is a $5 event. The $5 goes to, I believe it's either charity or back into the event, I believe the food or something in there. A bunch of slots left. $5. It's at the Burroughs Building. We've got a ton of great speakers, including Jerome and Gabriel Perez, that just joined in, I believe, a week and a half ago. Great speakers held at the venue. We will be streaming the event for those online. But what's really interesting is that if you do build an application, we will be having a competition afterwards as well. If you build something at the event or beforehand, during the competition time, we'll be posting online, hey, here's a bunch of the things that you can vote for your favorite person. So watch the stream if you're not able to make it. If you are making it out, tell your friends about the video stream. They'll come out, they'll vote for you live, and the winner of a publicly done vote wins out the prizes for applications and ideas. So be sure to pay attention to that, or register if you do have an interest for it. More details can be found online, both in the doobly-doo underneath the video when this is posted, and through the htmltoronto.ca website. If you go to the links section on the left-hand side, it's the second one, Toronto's web app in HTML gaming code-along. So do check that out when you get a moment. Just want to remind everybody, if you are following along to this live, tweet to us, stream, or use the hashtag streaming Sunday. If you're watching this afterwards, I'm always taking opinions and whatnot for topics for future streams. What I want to do next is essentially thanking somebody, as well as thanking a new sponsor that's coming onto the group. So I wanted to get the announcements out of the way ahead of time, which is the event that we're going to be co-running this weekend. But wanted to give everybody in the group a big heads up. We do have a brand new sponsor, or I guess it would be repeating sponsor, coming on board, Kendo UI. Big shout out to them. That's the guys over at Telerik. They've recently did a massive thing at South by Southwest where they had a cab. Go check out the videos. Awesome videos. Some really cool people they ended up taking the cab, and some stories with that. So yeah, big thanks to them. They'll be coming on board for April. More details about the sponsorship coming out, but pay attention to that. Also on sponsorship, this April is coming into our last month of sponsorship or current round of sponsorship for Oanda. So if you do get a chance and you haven't done so far, I'm going to say, give them a tweet and say, thanks for sponsoring HTML5_Toronto. And HTML5_Toronto, just for them helping out the developer community. Without their support, we wouldn't be able to stream. Yes, I know I have all my devices all hooked up. Wouldn't be able to give them wouldn't be able to give you guys the types of video streams, the quality of this, also the quality of all of the past events that we've been doing. All the streaming, all of the video stuff is all thanks to them. So whether or not it's a good thing or bad thing, because you get to see my face, the things like having it at Mars with the quadcopter device and flying around there, it was thanks to them. So big shout out to them, and give them a thanks on Twitter if you haven't done already. There's tons of links all over the place. If your newsletter, there's a link in the newsletter to automatically do one, the whole 9 yards. So big thanks to them. On that note, on that quadcopter last event that we ended up doing, if you have video or photos of the event, if you were there, please submit them. I am still gathering up all the content for that where I can, because I do want to put together a video of all of your content and saying, hey, this is the time we had, here's the photos, and blah, blah, blah. So send them in. Cool. So that's all the announcements. It was what, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, a couple minutes, few minutes. 7 minutes of announcements. That's not bad. Now we get out of the fun stuff. I am, through the group, looking to do 2 things. And these 2 things are going to be hopefully worldwide ability to work on. So if you're not coming from here, if you are coming from, say, Europe or Asia or the Pacific, San Francisco, all over the place, welcoming you with open arms. I'm looking for just a few people, spare time stuff. Similar to what I've already discussed, I guess, through the meetup group and through reaching out, there is a problem with event registration where people register for an event and they don't show up. We've had massive waiting lists. And then all of a sudden you have those people that are like, oh no, I can't make it. Or they just don't show up. Because it's a free event, there's no repercussions, there's no nothing. This last event, anybody who was paying attention, I had charged $5. That went literally directly into paying pizza. In fact, when I did the PayPal transfer into my own personal account, the money wasn't in there yet. It equaled out to almost exactly, in fact, a little bit less than what the pizza and the beverages and whatnot cost. But I don't want to do that to you guys. We have the sponsorships. Sponsors obviously went into some equipment and whatnot previously, but we're getting more sponsorships, which I do want to invest into you guys. Obviously, the giveaways, getting more of these things. Yes, I know I said I had no more, but I got to keep one for myself since I did buy them. Giveaways for those, t-shirts, those stickers that I'm always giving away at events aren't free as well, and I know a lot of you guys like those. Essentially what it comes down to is I'd like to find some way of having it so that the sponsorship, not the sponsorship, the attendance is maintained. If you register for an event, you want to continue going to an event. So one of the ideas that was half proposed, and I'm kind of mixing a few things together, is having a point system, right? So this attendance problem is not something that's unique to Toronto, or at least not to our group. This isn't a problem that's been going on for quite some time, where you'd have 50% of attendance rate for these free events. Yes, that's an email. Thank you, Lindsay. I'm sure you're watching this. It's great. Hey, listen. So what this point system would be is you'd sign up for a standard website or a website that would have a bunch of groups involved with it, right? So I'm going to just throw some names out here for different developer groups in Toronto. This could be nationwide. This could be citywide. Who knows? Again, completely just an idea at the moment, where you sign in, you instantly get so many points. Just throwing a number, 12 points, say. After this 12 points, to register for an event, and the event is held by a group that is part of this membership or part of this website, you would need so many points to register for the event. For instance, a group that has a high turnout rate or high value courses or has been part of this for a long time would have a higher point value. An event that spans multiple days would have a high point value. New events or ones that are not so big would have a lower point value. Again, scale, don't know yet. But you would spend points to go to the event. Now, what would end up happening is if you go to the event, you get points back, or you get the full amount of points back, or an amount. Whether or not the full amount, whether or not more, whether or not less, don't know. Points back. If you go above and beyond, for instance, if you check in, you perhaps get all of the points back. If you tweet at the event with the hashtag or with whatever, or spread on social media, you get more points. These points can go towards, hey, you're here, you're tweeting, you're doing social media platforms, you're spreading the word, you're interacting with the group by asking a question. Hey, you get points. Those points can mean prizes. Those points can mean extra value added for everybody. This benefits both the people that are going to the events because they're pronouncing their love for what they're doing, this passion, this investment that they're doing. And for the event organizers, this allows them to have that sense of, if somebody signs up for the event, you're going to know who's on a whitelist and blacklist, so who not to allow at the events because they don't show up. They take a seat to somebody who would show up. Because contrary to popular belief, even if you do charge for an event, if you have 50 people register for an event, all of whom paid $5, and 10 people showed up, that event's going to be horrible. The people who are there aren't going to have a good time because they're not going to be able to network, socialize, interact, engage. And then your sponsors and your speakers are not going to have that sense of, this is a valuable place to be. This is a valuable event to support. So for everybody, it really does help them. Privacy things coming down, obviously we need to take a look at those. But those are things that can be worked out. So I'm looking for people who are interested in helping build such a tool. I'm looking for some people who are basically have any spectrum of things. Again, purely on a spare time basis. This is I'm not even planning on having a charge for this site for groups to do. And if I do, it's in the future. This is purely a planning phase at the moment. So if you are interested, get in contact with me either through Twitter, through Facebook, through Google+, through the email address, again, matthew@htmltoronto.ca. This is my name. I run the group, so get in contact with me, any means necessary. Love to hear your thoughts. Even if it's hey, we've tried this, or hey, what about this? You don't need to be part of this, or you don't need to be part of a developer or the business side or whatever. If you have an idea about this or suggestion, I seriously, truly love to hear it. So there was a gentleman from the last event that I did charge for had said, look, I don't like, you start charging, I'm not coming, which I get. 100% I get. I have no problem with that mentality whatsoever. But here's my proposition. Let's hear what you have to say on this idea. Does this work for you? Does this work for everybody? If I can get other groups like DevTO, JavaScript Toronto, Android Developer Group, all of these other organizations on board with this, where you need to have a point system to get in, would you do that? Would you sign up for a third-party website to get it so that you are on a white list of people? So that's the second part of this. Awesome. So, second thing I wanted to discuss on this today, this podcast, was a call to action. So I've tried to do a couple call to actions in the last few things. Try doing this, submit your idea for that. Do this, try to submit your idea for that. So I've got a challenge for everybody. This challenge is not to be taken by the light of heart. It is a very difficult challenge to do. And to anybody who does complete this, and it's not something that you can pull off in a week. It's going to be something that you probably pull off a couple months. Is a WebRTC and WebSockets video streaming server that you can run in the background and have it broadcast out to a multitude of people. Now, here's the catch. It can't be just native video streaming, right? First of all, you're not going to be able to do that because there's not a lot of browsers that allow that. Second of all, no plugins, which means that there's no video codecs that can be allowed. It has to be cross-browser within the major browsers that support WebRTC and WebSockets. So, sorry, IE, unless you pull this off in the next month or so. Web.war, huh? Yeah, maybe? No? Huh. Anyway, Firefox, Chrome, Opera, BlackBerry, Those are all the browsers that have WebRTC built in so that they can be able to run this. Now, I get that transcoding might not be possible to do on local side, but you have server side that you can do this on using a Node.js platform with a Socket.io connection. But have it so that the person that is doing the broadcasting can be submitting in either 720 or 1080 or whatever the resolution of their webcam can do, can be broadcasting out to either a server or to individuals, and have it so that the people receiving the video can change the resolution or change the bit stream to a smaller bit stream if need be due to bandwidth restrictions. Because unlike what WebRTC generally is and sockets are, the peer-to-peer connection, that peer-to-peer connection is generally, hey, cool, here's a small little JSON file that you can use, or here's a small little snippet of text, or an image, or whatever. That doesn't require a lot of bandwidth, so it's not been an issue for many people, because you're not making a request, waiting for the server to respond, having it come back to you, which is the big slowdown for a lot of web platforms. What this would be you need to change that because the bit stream that's coming back to you is smaller. So it's a bit technical, I know. And yes, I've been getting emails and tweet notifications and whatnot, but it's a good thing. So to do the transcoding, either on the server or the desktop, and have it so that other people can do this. So that's my challenge to you guys. Let's see if you can build something. Submit it. By all means, this is not something you can do in a week. This is a fairly extensive thing. There are a few resources online, including, I believe Opera was doing some testing with this about a year ago, where they were successful in doing some things, but I'm not sure they had transcoding successfully implemented. But that's the key. That's the clincher, right, is the transcoding. As a bonus, as an extra thing, where, again, depending upon a couple sponsors coming in, depending upon if we perhaps want to present this in front of a group of people or whatever, that there may be prizes for this. But as a bonus, if you can have it so that it also saves the video stream or saves the stream to somewhere, be great. If not, that's fine. That can be done by third-party software when you're broadcasting the software out or the stream out. So challenge to anybody who does that. Even if it's pieces, let's see what you guys can do. So one last thing before I go. Yay, I'm actually going to hit my 20-minute mark. One last thing before I go. There are a couple of events coming up that that I'm thinking about having. One of which is potentially the May event for the HTML group, and the other one's April. Now, I don't want to get too many hopes up, and too many people's like, hey, wait a second. But it's fairly powerful, fairly strong that this will happen. I'll switch to the May one because the April one is still, I'm trying to figure out best use case for that, best thing. So that's that this month. Oh, wait, no, I mean, there's an event tomorrow. Yes, that's posted on the HTML Toronto meetup page. You might want to go register for that. For anybody who's paying attention to this, it's after the fact. There is an event that is registered that's called Creating a Single-Page Website in Flash, with all the modern techniques like hardware-accelerated animations, WebRTC video, semantic tagging, and native support for browsers. There's a real need for going back to Flash. So we're going to have that going and building something. Anyway, it's an April Fool's joke. And if you're watching this before tomorrow, ruined it for you. If you didn't already get that based upon the title. If you're watching this afterwards, it's funny. Just laugh. It was funny. So the May event, Leap Motion, which is a kind of like a Kinect device, or it's basically a gesture-based device where it senses motions and whatnot. Actually, let me see if I can pull it up. Leap Motion. Yes, I can. So, a gentleman from TVO, who is also a speaker and whatnot for the Toronto and developer community, big-time leader, is currently developing and working with one of the early prototypes of Leap Motion. Now, I believe this is public knowledge because there's a bunch of other developers that are working with this. I think it was either Wes Boss or... no, it wasn't Wes. It was somebody, for one of the speakers recently at the Spotlight event for FITC, can't remember which speaker it was though, had one of these. So anyway, TVO is doing an application for Leap, where what they're doing is they're using Java. They're doing a conversion of a Flash game that they had for kids to converting it to JavaScript. Now, along with this conversion to JavaScript, they are also making the conversion to have it so that it is controlled or able to be controlled by a Leap Motion device, which sounds absolutely familiar. I'm planning on going in hopefully either this week or next week to go take a look at what they're building and see it. We have reached out to Leap Motion to potentially have maybe a sponsorship or have not co-running, or maybe co-running if they're up for it, but promoting it, getting it out there. We are also, or I'm also going to be looking at having this in the large section of Mars, so we can have a bunch of people there, perhaps a couple of Leap Motions set up in front of TVs with different options and games available, and if I can, maybe even some prizes, give away some of them if I can get my hands on a few. So this is the device. It's probably not going to be able to hear too loud because I'm not passing the audio from the computer, but let's see. At any rate, really, really cool stuff. If you haven't heard of Leap Motion, go take a look. Stuff looks amazing, just absolutely amazing. So go take a look at that and see if you'd be interested in this. Let me know, because obviously I'd like to get your input. If it's building 3D games or building games with that type of thing in as a control device, let me know if that would work for you. Anyway, with that being said, I think it's just slightly over the 20-minute mark, but that's fine. If you do have any questions or comments, please, by all means, leave them down below. I do look forward to your tweets. Send me in topics. Send me in idea requests for next week's Streaming Sunday. Remember, if you can, go register for the HTML5 and gaming, JavaScript gaming, and have yourself a great, I guess tomorrow would be the final day of the 4-day weekend for most of you guys. So enjoy.